The cafe smelled of roasted coffee beans and freshly baked bread, the kind of cozy place where laughter echoed softly and strangers could sit close enough to feel less alone. Ava sat at the corner table, twisting the paper sleeve on her cup of tea. Her fingers trembled slightly, not from the cold, but from nerves. She had agreed to a blind date arranged by her best friend who swore, "He's not like other guys. He's kind, normal. You'll see." But as the minutes ticked by, she started to doubt that. Maybe he wasn't coming. Maybe he'd seen her through the window, her thrift store coat, her worn shoes, and decided she wasn't worth it. She sighed, looking out the foggy window. Her reflection stared back, tired, hopeful, a little broken. Then the bell above the cafe door chimed. A tall man walked in, dressed in a simple black sweater and jeans. He looked around, scanning the tables until his eyes met hers. A small, polite smile curved his lips as he approached. "Hi," he said warmly. "Ava?" She blinked, startled. "Oh, yes. You must be Daniel?" He nodded and sat down across from her. "Sorry I'm late." Traffic was worse than expected. "It's okay," she said quickly, trying not to sound too eager. "I almost thought you weren't coming." "I wouldn't miss it," he replied, his tone gentle but steady. "I'm glad you're here." Something about his voice calmed her. There was no arrogance in it, no hint of judgment, just quiet sincerity. They talked. About work, about books, about how she loved sketching in parks and how he liked watching people more than movies. Time slipped by easily, and for a while, she forgot how hard life had been lately. But when the waitress came with the bill, Ava froze. Her stomach sank. She reached for her old purse and realized she'd forgotten her wallet at home. Her face turned red. I'm so sorry," she stammered. Daniel noticed immediately. "Hey," he said softly, placing a hand over the bill. "It's on me." Her eyes widened. "No, I can't let you do that. I'll come back tomorrow and—" "Ava," he interrupted, his voice kind but firm. "It's just coffee, please." She swallowed hard. "You don't understand. I don't like people feeling sorry for me." He smiled gently. "Then don't think of it like that. Think of it as two people sharing a good afternoon. That's all." There was something in the way he said it, genuine, unpretentious, that made her believe him. When they stood to leave, she thanked him again, cheeks still pink. He shrugged. "Maybe next time you can buy the coffee." She laughed nervously. "Next time?" He nodded. "If you'd like that." Outside, the city air was crisp. She waved goodbye and started walking toward the bus stop, her heart fluttering with a strange warmth. But then headlights flashed, a sleek black car pulled up beside her. Daniel rolled down the window. "Can I give you a ride?" "Oh no, I'll be fine." "The bus is cheap," she said quickly. He hesitated, then simply smiled. "All right, just text me when you get home, okay?" She laughed. "You don't even have my number." He grinned. "Then maybe you should fix that." That night, Ava lay in bed staring at her phone, rereading his message. "I had a great time today. Hope you did too." She typed back, "I did. Thank you. For everything." His reply came instantly. "Anytime." What she didn't know, what no one at that cafe knew, was that Daniel wasn't just any man. He was the CEO of one of the largest design firms in the city. He had come to that cafe not for publicity, not for power, but for peace. And for the first time in years, he found it in her laugh. The next morning, Ava arrived at her part-time job, cleaning the office floors of Cole & Hart Designs. As she mopped near the entrance, the elevator doors opened, and her breath caught. Daniel stepped out, talking with his assistant, a tablet in hand. When he saw her, he froze mid-sentence. "Ava?" She dropped the mop, mortified. "Oh my God." He smiled, almost amused. "So this is why you said you were tired all the time?" I didn't want to say anything," she whispered, face burning. "I needed the job. I didn't want you to think less of me." He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Ava, look at me. You could have told me." She shook her head. "You're my boss." "I'm still the same guy from the cafe," he said gently. The one who just wanted to share coffee with you." Her eyes filled with tears. "But people will talk." "Let them," he said softly. "They always do. But I'm not letting you walk out of my life just because I sign a few paychecks." From that day forward, everything changed. He never flaunted his wealth. He picked her up from the bus stop sometimes, helped her carry groceries, and brought breakfast to the janitor's lounge just to spend time with her. When the staff whispered about them, Ava tried to pull away. But Daniel didn't let her. He reminded her again and again that love wasn't about status or money or appearances. It was about connection. And one evening, in that same cafe where they'd first met, Daniel slid a small white envelope across the table. Inside was a simple card that read, "Our first date on me." Ava smiled, tears glistening in her eyes. "You already said that the first time." He shook his head. "No, I mean it's really on me this time." She looked confused. He took her hand and whispered, "Because from now on, I want to take care of you. Not out of pity, but out of love." Her heart trembled. "You mean—" He smiled softly. "Yes, Ava, marry me." Outside, the city lights flickered. Inside, two people sat at a small corner table, the same one where a poor girl couldn't afford her coffee, and a rich man learned what wealth really meant. Would you like me to continue this story, showing their life after marriage, how Ava transforms his company culture with kindness, and how together they create a foundation for helping struggling women? The cafe was warm and full of chatter that evening, the scent of coffee mixing with laughter and clinking cups. Amelia sat nervously at a corner table, fidgeting with the edge of her sleeve. Her friend had set her up on this blind date, promising the guy was kind, normal, and just looking for someone genuine. She had dressed as best as she could, a faded blue dress, polished shoes she'd borrowed from her neighbor, and her mother's old purse. But now, staring at the expensive cafe menu, she wished she hadn't come. Every item cost more than what she earned in a day. Then he walked in. Tall, confident, with kind eyes and a calm smile. "Amelia?" he asked, his voice deep but gentle. "Yes," she replied, standing up nervously. "Hi, The reason I'm late," he interrupted playfully, smiling as he took a seat. His name was Daniel. He looked too polished, the kind of man who clearly didn't belong in her world. They talked, awkward at first, about weather, books, favorite food, but then something shifted. She mentioned how she dreamed of opening her own bakery someday. His eyes softened as he listened, asking thoughtful questions, genuinely interested. Then came the moment that made her heart stop. The waiter brought the bill. She reached for her bag immediately, pretending not to panic as she realized she didn't have enough. Her friend had said it would be casual. She hadn't expected the place to be this fancy. "I'll get it," Daniel said smoothly, noticing her frozen expression. "No. Please," she insisted, her voice trembling. "I'll pay for my half." He looked at her for a long moment. Then, with a soft smile, he said, "It's on me." She opened her mouth to protest again, but he continued gently, "Not because I pity you. Because I'm the one who asked to see you, and because I haven't enjoyed a conversation this much in years." Her eyes filled with tears she tried to hide. No one had ever spoken to her with such simple kindness, not like she was charity, but like she was seen. They left the cafe together, the evening breeze brushing softly between them. Outside, Daniel paused. "Can I tell you something?" he said. She nodded, expecting him to say goodbye politely. "I didn't come here by accident," he said quietly. "I've been coming to this cafe for months. I've seen you walk by every morning to your bakery job, carrying that heavy flour bag yourself." Her breath caught. "You noticed me?" "I noticed your strength," he said. "Your smile, even when you looked exhausted." He took a breath, his expression honest. "I'm not just some guy from a dating app. I'm Daniel Hartwell. I'm the owner of this cafe chain." Amelia's mouth went dry. "A CEO?" He stepped closer, his tone softening. "But that's not who I want to be right now. Tonight, I just wanted to be a man who finally found someone real." Tears spilled down her cheeks, not from embarrassment, but from something deeper. For the first time in years, she felt seen, respected, and safe. Daniel smiled gently. So how about this? Next time you bake me something, and I'll buy the coffee. Amelia laughed softly through her tears. Deal. That night, as they walked away under the city lights, she realized something life-changing. The date she thought would end in humiliation had turned into the beginning of a love story that money could never buy. Would you like me to continue the story to show how their relationship grows afterward? How she ends up opening her bakery with his help and love slowly blooms.